I'm the secretary of the Aetherius Society, and we believe in the cosmic message, life on other planets, that Sir George King, our founder president, is a contactee with people from other worlds. We believe that the whole of our history on this earth can be explained in cosmic terms. So we are able to accept Jesus, Buddha, Sri Krishna, Lao Tse, and others, but we will say that they came from cosmic sources, which is to show their distinction, their great, unique spiritual qualities, because they are more evolved races. And we believe that we are going to come to a time when we will cooperate more closely with people from other worlds.
I believe that Jesus and faith in Jesus is absolutely essential to an eternal destiny with God. And because of that, I won't compromise on the Christian faith. Because to do so with my beliefs would be the most unloving thing I could do. It would be to say, well, I don't care what happens to people. I don't care what happens to people after death. I don't care whether they get to heaven or not. And that, of course, would be a terrible thing. I mean, to quote him exactly, he said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." Now, that sums it up. And I mean, he meant that. I'm not taking it out of context. That is actually what he said. It's what he meant. And it's the whole witness of the Christian faith.
Zionism comes from the Bible, and certainly in terms of our Judaism, and I can't separate being Jewish from being a Zionist, because it is very much part of our religion that we turn to Zion. We pray 3 times a day, or religious Jews do, and they turn to Jerusalem, to Zion, and they pray to return to Zion. So Zionism, I suppose, has always been there. Of course, Jews have been expelled from Israel, the Romans, the Turks, etc., during history. But now the Jewish people have come back, and I think, like every other people in the world today, they have a right to have a little place on this earth that they can call their own. Perhaps I feel they have a greater right, because I don't believe there is another people on this planet that actually has been persecuted as a people simply because we are Jewish.
I became aware, really for the first time in my life, of the suffering of animals, initially through hunting, through blood sports. And I'd seen a poster at the Polytechnic where I studied, which showed a stag being ripped apart by hounds, which shocked me. I mean, I was quite deeply shocked at the time, and I think partly it had more of an impact on me because at that time my grandfather had just died and I was very close to him. So I think in a way I was emotionally vulnerable. I was open to and sensitive to issues like that. And I made a decision at that time that this was an issue I wanted to know more about. When I looked into the issue further, I wrote to the organisation who had published that poster. I found out not only information about hunting, but I also found out about other issues that I was completely, at least overtly aware of. I think subconsciously I must have known about these issues, such as animal experimentation, such as factory farming, but I'd never consciously allowed those issues into my mind or into my thoughts. When I found out what was going on to animals on a day-to-day basis in society, what was legally allowed to go on, I was horrified.
It took me a long time to come to the position I am now, which is a fairly absolutist one, that abortion in all circumstances is wrong, including rape, incest, all those other problems. But I know how I felt as a teenager, that I wouldn't have been able to argue. I would have probably said, well, maybe in those circumstances, sometimes it's justified. And I would still say today that I understand in those circumstances. No, you can't condemn a woman in one of those most horrendous circumstances, or if she's told by a doctor that the child is going to be very, very badly handicapped, and all the people around her are saying this is the best thing to do. One understands that that under those sorts of conditions, some women will still elect to have abortion, and it will be. But I don't believe it's right, and I don't believe it helps the woman, and I believe that those children still have the right to life, and I can argue that now. I couldn't have argued that when I was 17 or 18.